AI Investors May 8th edition update. Looks like a big rally today in the S&P. A pullback starting in gold. I wanted to kind of revisit the gold trade here. We do see one gap at 314-ish that could be filled on a gap up, perhaps in the coming days. But it's looking extremely toppy. I don't see this bull trend continuing for much longer. I see a bunch of bearish trends that I'd like to kind of go over with the group today. So one of the things that we're seeing is multiple gaps here all the way down. So back to this level, 254. I think we'll get it, probably 15% pullback in gold. As people leave gold in the dust for risk assets, this is just the kind of push and pull of the market where people think gold is a store of value. But then, of course, inevitably, they end up chasing risk assets at higher prices, even though I believe we're in a strong bubble. So, yeah, this gold chart I wanted to contrast with the one on Yahoo Finance. So let's take a look at gold chart on Yahoo and use some of the indicators that I typically take a look at with moving average here. So one of the things that we see that I wanted to point out is this indicator right here. We are parabolic right now in gold. We had a good shorting opportunity around 310, but it looks like it pulled back a little bit. I'd like to see one more small pop in gold to fill the 314 gap. I think we'll get it, but it's anyone's guess. We're trading in a parabolic situation. Last time we were this parabolic was here. Then we pulled back for about, let's see, we consolidated for almost 3 years before this parabolic run. So I expect something similar where we're parabolic, just like in 2020. And then we get this large downdraft in the MACD, which only pulled back. We went from, 196 or so down to 161. So we're looking at about a 10 to 20% pullback, which is what I'm looking for in gold as well. I'm looking for around this support level, 254. I believe it'll hit the 50-day moving average. That's not crazy, because you see in the past it's hit the 50-day multiple times, and it's never really been this far above the 50-day moving average, unless you go all the way back to 2011. And then it pulled back, and then it had a consolidation period. So I think we're going to get a large pullback, 10 to 15% at least in gold. And it's very toppy. As soon as you see this MACD start coming down, we're seeing it starting to stall right now. And it's going to mean revert the MACD. You're going to see some sell-off in gold, and it's going to panic people out of gold and into risk assets. So that's one thing I wanted to point out today was the gold trade looks very toppy to me. So another couple trades we go over here in the channel was HAIN. HAIN got smoked yesterday, but it was a great buying opportunity around 140 per share. If it gets smoked 50% down in a day, we said we wanted to trade it after the earnings. We wanted to see it break out of the falling wedge, and it did not. Okay, and that's why we wanted to see the earnings report. It got smoked instead, but then it got oversold in the short run. I do believe we'll get a small run here in HAIN just because of the oversold conditions in the short term. I don't think it's going to break out of the falling wedge. We wanted it to break out of the falling wedge to fill the gap at 16, but it looks like that might be too far away and company might be too far gone. But just as a short-term trade, it looked like a good buy at 140 per share. So I hope you were following that one. TTD, which is another one we follow closely on the channel. We're seeing it pop 6% today, and then it popped 11% after hours. This has been a long time favorite of the channel. So if you got in, kudos to you. You followed the channel. so you can like, subscribe, comment on that. But yeah, I mean, we had the most oversold in history, the MACD. It hit this kind of key level in the MACD, and we saw buyers come in. And we're gonna see the pop tomorrow. So great time to cash in. We were long this one around 55. People were saying, "Oh, it's gonna go to 35, whatever." Maybe at some point it'll go to 35. That's possible. It's in the cards, but looks like tomorrow we're getting a big pop. So good for you if you are in on that one. SOXL, another winner of the channel. We're seeing now this bullish cross happening here. And to be transparent, we got out of SOXL, most of SOXL today in the short term call options. So, but I do think that SOXL is headed to 23. That's my target for SOXL in the next year. So that's just to be clear, this is not a like tomorrow event. It's going to go to 23. I think it's going to go to 23 in the next year. This was the previous support level. That will become resistance. You know, good on you if you caught the SOXL when we were buying around 9 or 8 per share, the options. So you're up big time, 100% or probably more on that trade. So just a few winning trades here I wanted to go over. Another one was EBS. We bought that one around 5, but it went up 34% today. I do think it has a lot more in the tank. I think it's undervalued. I think it's probably headed to 9. It's at least going to head and retest this 200-day, which is at 8. But, you know, this is going to remain to be seen. You know, we want to see some follow through in this action. I'm watching this one very closely. Go to another channel, Fave, has 3 positive indicators on Yahoo Finance, 1 negative indicator only. And yeah, the overall setup for GoTo looks relatively bullish in the short run because we do see some accumulation happening. I think that there's going to be a revival in Chinese equities, which is a complete contrarian play. And that's how the market usually works. The market usually works as contrarian. So it doesn't usually move in the way that you think that the market will move. So as a contrarian play, I do like GoTo. I like Baba. Tal, I'm not such a great fan of Tal. I know we've been pumping Baba here in the channel because of the Golden Cross. Tal, yeah, I mean, I don't love the setup in Tal. I mean, I would choose GoTo over Tal because GoTo is online and they're easily shifting into AI, whereas Tal, they're using AI, but it's more of a traditional education stock, so I'm a little bit more wary on this one. Maybe in another video, we'll go over Co. I've been long this one since it was a few bucks a share. But just another one to put on your watch list. A couple of buys I think that might be coming up just to keep tabs on is this one, Helen of Troy, HELE. The chart looks pretty horrendous, but I think that there might be light at the end of this tunnel if we can find a bottom here and actually start to rise. We're seeing some signs of that right now. I think there'll be a big snapback rally to 53, which is roughly 100% gain from here. So if you can stomach the volatility in HELE and hold, I think in the short run you'll be rewarded. It's still in a downtrend, to be clear, okay? And I think it's still risky because accumulation looks pretty poor. RSI is starting to rise. I do see bullish cross in MACD here, but overall, I'm not in love with this chart. It's really a nasty looking chart. And it would be a counter trend rally. So I'd expect a counter trend rally to maybe in the 50s, and then it would be a sell, in my opinion. So yeah, just a one to look out for, just to keep track of. So I wanted to go over all these stocks today. A lot of good picks today. A lot of good hits, and overall great day for the market. So kudos for you if you've been in and listened to the channel. You probably made some good ones. So I wanted you to like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, let the markets be with you. Take care and good night.